The Weightless Mountain, Parables of the Chakras, Part 1. The Burden of the Stones. There was once a boy named Aaro who lived in a world divided by the elements, earth, water, fire, and air. Though he bore the lightness of the winds in his heart, Aaro carried a heavy burden across his small shoulders. He was destined to be the balance bringer, the one who would mend the shattered lands. But destiny, as the wise often say, is not a crown placed easily on the brow. Aaro traveled deep into the Valley of Serpent's Breath, where an ancient sage awaited him. The sage, a man named Pima, wore simple robes and spoke with the patience of a river carving stone. "You seek to master the infinite," Pima said, stirring a small pot of jasmine tea. "But first, you must master yourself. Your energies are blocked, sealed behind doors of your own making. Until you unlock these doors, your spirit will never flow freely." Aaro bowed low, for he respected wisdom even when it came wrapped in difficulty. Pima led him to a circle of standing stones atop a high cliff. Each stone bore a different symbol: water, fire, air, earth, light, sound, thought. "These," said Pima, "are your chakras. Each must be opened. Each has a lesson. Each will demand a sacrifice." Aaro nodded. "I am ready." But readiness spoken is not readiness proven. Stoic reflection. The soul often deceives itself into thinking it is prepared. True readiness is not declared in words, but revealed in deeds. No man knows if he is strong until he is tested. At the first stone, marked by a swirling river, Aaro was asked to release his fear. Memories flooded him. The roar of a wildfire consuming his childhood village, the shriek of parting friends, the endless ache of loneliness. Fear clung to him like a second skin. "I cannot," he whispered. At the second stone, emblazoned with a dancing flame, he was told to let go of his guilt. He remembered those he could not save, the promises broken by time, the hopes he could not fulfill. Guilt chained him to the earth. At the third stone, he must release shame. At the fourth, grief. At the fifth, lies, he told himself. At the sixth, attachments he clung to out of fear of loss. Each demand felt like the stripping away of his very self. Again and again he tried. Again and again he failed. Aaro grew frustrated. "How can I let go of these things? They are part of me." Pema smiled sadly. "The stone does not cling to the river. It simply rests until the water carves it away. You cling, and in clinging, you suffer." But Aaro did not understand. His heart burned with the fire of his failures, and in time doubt wormed into his mind. "Maybe I am not the balance bringer. Maybe the world was wrong." He sat in silence beneath the stones, the cold wind whispering past him, carrying the scent of snow and faraway fires. Day after day he tried. Night after night he failed. The world beyond the cliffs grew darker. Rumors of war, of cruelty, of a coming storm that would swallow cities whole. And still Aaro sat, burdened by the stones of his heart. Stoic reflection. The external world does not destroy the soul. It is only the judgment we place upon events that causes ruin within. It is not the weight of the world that crushes a man, but the weakness of his grasp upon virtue. Part 2. The Flow of Light. One night, as the twin moons rose over the cliffs, Aaro sat alone before the circle of stones. His breath steamed in the cold air. The world was quiet, save for the murmuring river far below. His body ached, his spirit ached more. Pima approached quietly, sitting beside him without a word. Together they stared into the starlit sky. At last, Aaro spoke. "I cannot do it. I cannot let go. My fear, my guilt, my shame, they are too heavy. They are part of who I am." Pema poured 2 cups of tea, the steam swirling like spirits between them. When you grip a stone tightly, he said, it feels heavy. When you hold it lightly, it weighs nothing. It is not the stone's nature that burdens you, but how you carry it. Aaro frowned. But how do I hold it lightly? Pima smiled. By trusting that you are not the stone. The words sank into Aaro's heart like seeds into fertile earth. That night, beneath the open sky, he closed his eyes, not to force the chakras open, but simply to breathe. He breathed in the cold, clean air. He breathed out his striving. He breathed in the silence of the stars. He breathed out the noise of his mind. He let himself feel the fear, the way the river feels the jagged rocks, and simply let it pass. He did not clutch at it, did not resist it, and suddenly the first stone before him began to glow, faint and blue like moonlight through mist. The block in his body dissolved like ice touched by sun. Fear ebbed from him like a receding tide. Fear was a visitor, not a master. Tears welled in his closed eyes, not from sadness, but from relief. Stoic reflection. Fear comes when we mistake the temporary for the eternal. Let every feeling pass through you like a traveler through a village. Greet it, learn from it, let it leave. At the second stone, Aaro faced his guilt. He remembered the faces of those he had failed. He did not deny it. He did not run from it. He forgave himself, not because he had forgotten, but because he understood. He had done his best with the wisdom he had at the time. The second stone lit up with a warm golden flame. Guilt was a teacher, not a prison. One by one he moved through the stones. At shame, he let his mistakes become stepping stones rather than shackles. At grief, he allowed himself to love without clinging to what was lost. At lies, he let truth cut away the illusions he built around his fears. At attachment, he realized love does not demand possession, but freedom. With each realization, another chakra opened. His body felt lighter, as if the earth itself had begun to breathe with him. Stoic reflection. Nothing outside your mind can stain your soul unless you consent to it. Shame, grief, anger. These are not enemies, but companions along the road to wisdom. Finally, at the seventh stone, marked with the symbol of pure light, he faced his greatest attachment, the people he loved. The balance bringer was told he must enter the state of pure spirit, the cosmic flow of all things. But that meant risking the loss of his personal ties, the faces he held most dear. Aaro trembled. Could he let them go? Could he love them without needing them to anchor him? For a long time he sat with the question, the night passing into a thin grey dawn. At last he understood. Love was not a chain, but a bridge. True love did not bind the spirit, it set it free. He released his desperate clinging to his friends, his mentors, his home. And in doing so, he loved them even more truly. The final stone flared into brilliance, and a cascade of white light poured through him, from the base of his spine to the crown of his head. For the first time, Aaro did not feel powerful. He was power. He did not feel connected. He was connection. He did not feel light. He was light. He rose slowly, the air vibrating around him. His eyes shone like twin suns. Pima bowed deeply. You are ready. And though the world still raged beyond the valley, though wars still brewed and darkness still whispered, Aaro carried no fear within him. He had become the river that carves stone, the wind that dances with flame, the mountain that does not resist the storm, but simply endures. He was at last himself. Stoic final reflection. You cannot control the flow of the world. You can only control the vessel you offer to the river. Make it strong, make it light, make it free. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe and share.